10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. We are live here on the Cheap Seats. I am your host, Andrew Faubert, here on Bucs Report, coming to you from a very warm Canada now. As you can see on my face, I am a little burnt. See there? It's everywhere. I had a very, very fun basketball game. And yeah, see, people have asked about that too. I put it up. It sometimes does like a little, like what a rooster does. Like, no, but anyways, I am your host, Andrew Faubert, coming to you live from my office from Canada here on a Sunday night to give you a rundown of the upcoming season and some of the key matchups to keep an eye on with some of our enemies coming into our territory and to the enemy territories we are going into. Oh, excuse me. So before we get into that, remember to like, pound that share button, and follow me on an epic journey while we get into the season, the schedule really, of the upcoming season for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here tonight, where we're also just going to talk with the Miscreants. Miscreants will be popping in and out here pretty darn soon. But before we get into that, we're also going to have the goulash tonight as well. That's my version of the meme grinder. It's just a mixture of, what stupid things Buck fans say and this, that, and everything else and all that stuff. So we got an over and under on that tonight, probably by one of our good friends. The reason why we're doing this tonight is we got a lot of people on the internets I've seen this week having different opinions on certain mismatches or different matches, if I guess you will, on certain games. What are we going to do against the Bills? Will we really lose against the Rams so early? Is there really any way that we could lose to the Saints twice again? I mean, there's a lot of good theories out there about, going undefeated and what we are going to be and what this team is going to be like and what teams we can beat and which ones we got to be scared of. Here's the thing. Before we get on our high horses, and before any team really gets on their high horses, the one thing you have to understand is any given Sunday. It's a term, it's a movie, it's something that has existed for a long time. Any given Sunday, anything can happen. Every team is built different ways to compete their own ways. Some teams obviously are built to tank. Some teams are obviously built to win. Teams in the middle of the pack are still teams that you need to be scared of because they finish 7-9 or 8-8 for a reason. They don't just get those wins from all the bad teams, and they don't just get all those losses from the good teams. Sometimes it's a nice blended of both. And those are the teams that you do have to be scared of. So we are going to go through the schedule and talk about some of these teams that we got to play here. And some of the matchups that we need to be aware of. So one of the first ones, obviously, that we're going to talk about is the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to be coming into our arena. First game of the season, Thursday, September 9th. I know Harry Greek has basically said bet the house on us having a 6-point coverage. And, I lean into it and I lean out and lean in and I lean out because we're not necessarily going to have a Super Bowl hangover. Tom Brady is going to come in and demand excellence from the very get-go. It's not just going to let week 1 go, even if it comes close to being a loss, even in the third quarter. He's going to demand excellence of this squad. That being said, one thing that is really hard to play with in this league or in this era of the NFL is corner. I'm not saying that we have a really bad batch of corners. I'm not saying that at all. We actually have a very good batch of corners. Heck, I believe Mr. Johnny Dean at one point has it ranked number 8 from PFF, I believe is what he told me. I should have gotten that proper. But Dallas Cowboys are a team that is got one major advantage to them. They have a hell of an offense. We have a great defense. We have amazing defense. We have an elite defense. That is true. This is completely 110%. But the corners are the ones in any aspect that need to have the time and they need to have the ability to see the field and to see the enemy, which is the opponent, a little bit for a little time before they get their legs ready. It's one thing to go up against your own guys in camp because they are going to give you that little bit of leeway, certain pivots and certain turns. But in the NFL, they're not. Cornerbacks are going to be a bit of an issue going into week 1. Again, not saying that we have bad cornerbacks. It takes a little bit to get those legs going. If anybody here watches hockey, you know what happens when you get a week break from hockey and you go and you play somebody who just played 2 days ago? You almost lose. Almost every time. Why? Because the other team's already ready to go. The corners, your legs aren't used to going backwards all the time. Obviously, they are accustomed to it. And they're born into it if they really want to play the position. The wide receivers on the Dallas Cowboys is the one major key point that we are obviously talking about right now for the matchup. This is a team that is going to come in and they know exactly what they're going to have to do to put up points on the Buccaneers. The longer that you make Dak Prescott wait in the pocket, the easier it does become for us, the Buccaneers, because we do have the edge rushers and we do have Vita Vea. Now, the issue, though, is the mismatch on the offense of line. Cowboys have a great offensive line, and they do have some guys who are about to retire. But we do have a great defensive line on our side. So if you want to have certain matches, Martin is going to be probably going up against Vita Vea. Fredericton, if he is actually healthy, is more than likely going to have to start chipping on him as well. That means that Sue or JPP is going to be able to eat up on the other side. Jack Barrett is going to be covered by their left tackle pretty well. Middle linebackers do have to add some assistance into, quick ins in the slot position because they got Gallup and Amari Cooper and the other guy, CeeDee Lamb. It's a lot of talent on that offense. I'm not saying we're going to win, I'm not going to say we're going to lose, but I'm also not going to say we're going to win by 40 points as well. We have to look at matchups. I have guessed on my prediction for my 1.0 on my own show, 48-45. Make it so the Bucs have to actually know what they're playing for if they want to go undefeated or if they want another Super Bowl. Teams that the media don't care about or they laugh at right now are teams that are ready to start licking their chops at the Buccaneers. Teams are always inept to go and build to try and beat the best. It's always how it is. Now teams are coming in to try and beat the best, which is us right now, and the Chiefs, because the Chiefs are going to be relevant and still there. This being said, the Dallas Cowboys doing the same. Getting edge rushers, getting linebackers, getting the key positions that they know that they really suck at. So when it comes to week 1, don't bet your house on it on the -6. If you can get the Cowboys to cover at +6, I would take that. But we're looking at key matchups here tonight. The only major one that we need to look at for number 1 for week 1 is those cornerbacks because they got a lot of wide receiver talent on there. When we go to week 2, going up against our conference rival, Now, obviously, this team is in a bit of a rebuild. They still have some of the same tools that have actually gone to the Super Bowl, but they are depleting in age and in contracts. That's why Julio Jones had to be traded. I wouldn't be surprised if Arthur Smith puts in a nice run-heavy style into this, just to try and gain some momentum and trying to keep up. I can't even talk tonight. And trying to keep up with the Super Bowl champions in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're going to want to try to throw to Kyle Pitts. We're going to have a game plan for that. You're going to want to try to throw to Calvin Ridley. We're going to have a game plan for that. This should, respectively, be an easy one. But as we know as Buccaneer fans, Falcons can always be a pain in our arse. Okay? This is how it is. They always are a bit of a pain in the arse. Now, I would suggest, though, if you're a betting person out there, make a little wager on there that the Bucs would probably do a -6. And if you guys don't know what, you guys and gals out there don't know what a -6 means, just means that the Buccaneers would win by 6 points. Minus means that, it's in their favor. Plus means that it's an underdog. When you look at these matchups, though, the real matchup is the Kyle Pitts. We do not know what he's going to be. We're only going to see 1 week of him, and if they don't use him really well in week 1 and they decide to use him on us, it could be a bit of an issue. Julio Jones has had great yard games on the Buccaneer defense. People may throw in that has been many different styles of defense on us, and this is not Todd Bowles. No. I agree. But it is still something to watch out for. You do not want to just randomly go and play Kyle Pitts without knowing what he is going to do. So we do have to be careful and watch the matchups and see how they're going to go in week 2. But I would obviously make it a win. By my predictions, if I do pull them out right now, they would be 2-0 right now. Go to week 3. At the Rams. This is where tonight's topic kind of came in to be. So a lot of people are really scared about the Rams. Matt Stafford is there. Oh no, he's gonna start throwing major touchdowns with that offense. I eventually agree with you. I just think it's gonna take another week after, because the first 2 weeks for them, respectable. They could get some yards. Matt Stafford might get comfortable. But then when he's got to play a defense like us, it's when all of a sudden he goes back to old Matt Stafford, where he's going to do the epic comebacks that he's not really used to. And I wouldn't want to be him either. I wouldn't want to be playing this defense in week 3. I also wouldn't want to be our defense, because we do not necessarily know what Matt Stafford is going to do and how well he is going to play. He is going to play very, very well. But we just don't know if he is going to be the type of gunslinger that he starts throwing it around just so he can start making an epic comeback, or if he's going to be a guy who actually starts using the offense and becomes a bit of a playmaker. I think it's going to take to about week 4, week 5, to be honest. I think a butt whooping by the Buccaneers would be a good reason for him to be the betting favorites, for them to have over 12 wins this season. So, to be honest, if we're looking at this matchup, the major X factor is Stafford, because it's so early in the season. Our defense, again, may need to take some time. Our cornerbacks may need to take some time. Our offense is going to be all right because Brady will just use the hot hand. That's the advantage of having the GOAT. We do have Devin White and we do have Levante David. I would be remiss to obviously bring them up. If we do not use them properly, though, which I don't think is going to happen, but if we don't use them properly, where they're the ones kind of leading the offense or the defense on the field for the first 4 to 5 weeks, we may have some issues. It's nothing on Todd Bowles. It's one of those things where the players need to get it together. If a coach starts interjecting, that's where you start getting bad plays and you start getting big plays for the opponent's offense that start happening. We need to remember who we are playing. This is week 3. We are playing the Rams. We don't want to just blitz the whole time. We do want to put pressure on him. We do want to make sure that he is just making, these dumb plays. but it needs to be smart. The Rams are a team that if they actually do get it together, there's a lot of people who are scared that they could be Super Bowl contenders. And you know what? I am one of them. I am very close to a Rams fan now. And the second that trade happened, oh my goodness gracious, the phone call I got, he's like, I'm coming for you, Buck fans. I'm like, that's pretty funny. That is really, really funny. And I appreciate you trying and hoping, but you still got 2 years to go. So I do think the Buccaneers take this one. I do. I do. And I don't necessarily think it's a blowout, but I think that they'll win by 17. I don't think it's going to be as close as everybody thinks. There's learning curves that need to be done. As Rich 0665 says, always a learning curve. This is true. And as Teresa says, hello, Teresa. Whoops. Don't be shy. Comment, hit the share button. Come and join it. We are just going week by week. We'll do the goulash here later on after that. As I got it right now, we've got the Bucs at 3-0, and it's obviously not an easy road to 3-0 here. But this is where the fun starts to begin. The media starts taking the Bucs side. Everyone starts taking the Bucs side. The new New England Patriots are here. The new Dallas Cowboys are here. Still need to get over that learning curve, even for us. Because week 4, we are going into New England. Oh, which, by the way, I forgot to bring up. There's certain things that Tom Brady has never done. He's never played in Los Angeles. Well, I believe now he wins in Los Angeles. So he knocks that off of one of the resumes he needs to do. Now, speaking of the resume he needs to do, week 4, he goes here into New England. The only team he has never beaten, the New England Patriots. Oh, the New England Patriots. How dare the New England Patriots? Obviously, the NFL had to make this happen. And if you're asking me, Bill Belichick doesn't just spend $168 million to go 7-10. No. Jared Stidham's not even looking that bad in camp. Pretty sure Buck Report's very own Joshua Cole Allen would even tell you that. All right. There is very fine whispers out of New England that they could be coming back. And people laugh at it. Nah, they're done. Brady's not there. He's here. Week 4, when you go in there, it's still going to be cold. Brady's used to the warm weather. People throw Green Bay at me. I got you. Completely understand. Completely agree. I don't necessarily think the cold weather is going to get to him. The rest of the team, on the other hand. So, that being said, I think the only loss that we can say is going to be a very, very close one, and I don't want to say is going to be an easy sweep of him going in there and, tossing 10 touchdowns in the first quarter or anything like that. No. I personally think when you get to week 4 here, this is where the money starts coming in. It's still early. Belichick knows, certain spots that Brady obviously, we'll say lacks at as elite status. He's played him. Belichick is a defensive mind. He's always played him. He's played him for so long that he's probably the only person in the league who knows Tom Brady the best. And he's probably got some plays up his sleeve that he could beat Brady. Now, obviously, the masses, and even this next person who's probably going to come in is telling me I'm an effing idiot. Everybody has. I do think, though, the Bucs go 3-1. The media all of a sudden turns on the Bucs. Oh, the Bucs have lost to Belichick. Are the Patriots Super Bowl contenders? Are the Bucs even playoff contenders if they can't beat the Patriots? What is the world coming to? Oh my goodness gracious. Steven Glasker.
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm good. Now I'll kind of keep the transition going here. Am I crazy to obviously think, and me and you have talked about this off air before, am I crazy to think that the $168 million investment of that team now, because that's a lot of money on contracts that I and no one ever expected Belichick to obviously do. But is this something that the Buccaneers, as a team, need to be worried about going in there? Is that Super Bowl hangover going to last to week 4 where Bill Belichick, and I say Super Bowl hangover obviously very loosely, do you think that Super Bowl and that loom and Brady wanting that win so bad, do you actually think it may hinder this team to a regular season loss?
No, not when it comes to Patriots. I can understand. I heard what you said. I get what you're saying, and I understand. Mm-hmm. I understand your reasoning. Mm-hmm. You're right. Bill Belichick is a great defensive mind. He has worked with Tom Brady for 20 plus years. He basically helped develop him.
Yeah,
and so he knows his weaknesses. He knows his faults, and it comes down to one of those deals where the master says to the teacher, "I taught you everything you know, but I didn't teach you everything I know."
Yeah.
And I guess that's what you're alluding to. I don't believe, and the reason why you're right, I am on the opposite side of the fence as you when it comes to this. The reason why I don't believe that the Bucs will lose this game. They could lose the first 3 games and still not lose this game. That's how big a deal I think this game is, because for a couple of reasons. True, Bill knows Brady. Mm-hmm. Bill doesn't know everybody else in the Bucs. He studies. He's seen what he's seen them play. And the one thing, when you match team against team, mm-hmm. he spent a lot of money for some good players who are not as good as the players we have. That's just
that is very true. Very true.
Everybody he spent money on, our player is better.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
He spent a lot of money essentially on B players, not A minus. Maybe B, maybe a B plus here and there, but most of them are just B, maybe. Some are B minus players.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that.
And the reason why he had to spend all that money is because nobody wants – the one thing that a lot of people miss when it comes to Tom Brady and Bill Belichick is all these years they thought – and I believe Bill thought this too. I think a little bit of hubris is what got him in the end. Mm-hmm. People want to come play for me. I'm Bill Belichick. I'm the man. I'm the guy who's taking the team to 9 Super Bowls. He didn't think they really want to come play with Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. That's why people come in. And the proof in the pudding is he had to pay $168 million to get people to come play there last year.
Yeah. Yeah, that is, I mean, very good point on that as well, yeah.
So if he was so great, he wouldn't have to give up that kind of money.
I do agree. To answer this question from our friend Carl, will Cam be starting in week 4?
I've thought about that. That's a great question. I've thought about that. I'm not even sure Cam's going to start week 1.
Yeah, that injury may actually hinder him. And I've always thought, jokingly, the only reason Bill Belichick's bringing Cam in here is because Cam actually has a little bit of knowledge of some of the defensive players and stuff like that. And I bet you it's just keeping him up at night, sitting there and, all right, they got JPP here. He played on the Giants, and Giants were a big pain in our butts, and we can. Yeah, I think we can. Right. If we get Jude on, we can do some damage here, and we're gonna need 3 tight ends at like $100 million. And yeah,
right there you go.
Yeah.
You know this stuff, Andrew Cole. Do you believe that anybody that Belichick paid for, including their offensive line, the help on the offensive line, is better than our defensive front?
Nope. I think the only advantage Belichick would have into this is now actually having rotation. Johnny has always brought this up, and it's actually a good point to bring up for Johnny. We have like an A to A plus obvious defensive line. Our backups, though, C to C minus, right? So at the same time, their front line is a B plus, maybe coming at us, right? And then their spares is also a B to B minus. So that's in, if they get the longevity going, like if they just start running it down the Buccaneers, like for, if any injury happens, we know that that's probably the one hole that they're going to take advantage of. But I do think They have grabbed a couple of different running backs in the draft. They have grabbed a couple in free agency. So they may turn to Cam Newton and those running backs and say, just do what you can. And through the game, we'll see what matchups we can eventually hit. We might throw a little slot pass in there. And I think that's always been Bill Belichick's advantage is he does do very, very well at playing like the chess game within the actual chess game happening. Right. Kind of like the Queen's Gambit that was going on Netflix there. He's definitely that redheaded chick playing chess within the chess match. The only problem is now is he's got to deal with the rest of the world out there, and Brady's a very good advantage of that. He's probably the Russians in this case. So right. When you're talking Queen's Gambit. So there's me and Steve kind of giving the differences of it. Bless you. Thank you. You saw me kind of go mute there. Think Miami will give us a tougher game. Now that's a good transition because week 5, Miami does come to us. We do play the early game. It's on CBS. It's telling me right now that tickets are available for 137. And then I see the New England went tickets as low as 862. That's a lie. I don't believe that for a second. If that be the case, I may be going to Boston. It's like, honey, you ever wanted to go vacation in Boston? She'd be like, no, and we're not doing that. Miami does. Great.
I like Boston, actually. I've been there.
I'm not going to lie. I'd go to any American town at this point. I do want to come down. I'm trying. I don't make the greatest amount of money, but right. I may try to just flaunt whatever kind of white booty I got for a Friday and a Saturday at some sleazy trucker bar and make a couple of bucks, and I'll fly down there somehow. Yeah, I'll make my way down there. But yeah, week 5, playing the Dolphins. Yeah, Tua is going to be coming into town with the Dolphins. The Dolphins definitely got an improved offense, and their defense is very, very good. And I think their defense is only going to start getting better.
I agree.
And to the point that Rich was making, I do also agree that Miami may give us a bit more of a harder time. Now, the reason is Tua's either going to figure it the F out or he's going to figure it the F off.
Right.
Because we've heard the rumors in the offseason, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson. Miami is one of those teams that is a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender, like we were. Denver's another one. The Raiders you could kind of put into that conversation as well. Yeah. But the Miami Dolphins, if you took Tua out of there and put, Aaron Rodgers on there, I don't want none of that. Wow. None of that. Yeah. Because then all of a sudden some trades could happen for that offense. Right. A running back on the free agency market would all of a sudden want to go there, or they would trade for one. That would be dangled out there for 3rd-round picks that all of a sudden Aaron Rodgers would be like, yes, please. We're looking at, though, the inevitability that it's going to just be Tua. He is left-handed, and I bring this up only because he is going to be looking to the other side of the field. So in his case, he'd be looking to the right side of the field a little bit more. Right. He is going to be looking Carlton Davis's way almost every single time first. That's going to be a disadvantage for him because if he's got Carlton Davis, that means Devontae Parker, which most games obviously is going to be considered out. Or if they actually throw Carlton Davis out there on Jalen Waddle, that's where this whole X factor really comes in. I think the offense for us may get shut down respectively by Miami's defense to 28 points, the 24 to 28 point mark. Yeah. I think our defense would have to do a really, really good job against the offense. And I think the matchups on the cornerback side, and bringing up what I brought up for week 3 against the Rams and even against the Falcons, is our corners just need to get a little bit of time before they get the legs going behind them. And I think week 5 here, Miami actually starting to have some targets here may actually put them in that realm where they're like, you know what? I think we can do this. I got Waddle. You get Parker. I'll take Fuller. All 3 of their wide receivers are taken. Your tight end is all of a sudden getting taken out by Devin White. It's a close one, but yeah, I do agree. Miami's going to give us a little bit of trouble, but we still get the dub on that one. What are your thoughts?
I agree. I think, I guess for me, and I'm going to say something you probably will not agree with because you have such faith in Belichick. I don't think the Pats make the playoffs. I think Miami makes the playoffs, and the Patriots don't. I think they are.
In my 1.0, my 1.0, which I have right here. I just don't have it on the right page, of course. I have the Patriots and the Dolphins actually making the playoffs both together with the way that it went through.
Yeah.
And it's obviously just a sneak through. Yeah, New England and Miami, I have both finishing at 9-8. But this is my 1.0 prediction is nothing to be taken fully. It's right now just based off of the before Julio trade. Some of these camp injuries obviously come into play. Even camp trades that happen. But I do have both of them going. But there's going to be 2 or 3 games that the Patriots have to literally beat good teams to make the playoffs. And that's the only advantage that they really have this season for all that money is they know that. They know that their scheme and stuff will win them at least 1 game against Miami, at least 1 to possibly 2 against the Jets, and you're probably going to steal 1 against the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Now you just got to go out to the rest of the divisions or the rest of the schedule that they have and try and sneak in some of those wins against like really good competitive teams. Miami's got a way better shot to do that though.
Oh, yeah.
Way better.
I'm not sure. I think they'll beat the Jets twice. I mean, if they don't beat if they split with the Jets, that means Zach Wilson's maybe a little better than we thought. Mm-hmm. I just don't see that being the case. I think they beat the Jets twice. I don't think they beat the Bills at all.
Interesting.
If Cam plays, I don't think they beat the Bills.
Oh, so you think it would be like later on in the season with Mac Jones?
Right.
Okay, I got you.
That's fair. Bill doesn't usually like to start rookies, but he may be in a position where he might not be able to keep from starting them. I don't. If they play, I think Cam's. I don't wish this. Is just because of what's happened to him over the past few years. I think Cam gets hurt again. I don't think Cam plays 17 games.
No, I agree.
Crazy to play Brian Hoyer because Brian Hoyer. I'm hearing because I've been paying attention. I've been listening to their training camps or mini camps. And Brian Hoyer looks the bit. Stop it. Yeah. Hoyer is not the guy. Brian Hoyer.
No, you got Hoyer, you got Stidham, you got Newton, you got Mac Jones. I mean. Again, it's probably Belichick going to play the chess game as well, being like, I ain't going to tell you what quarterback I'm using until at least like 9 o'clock when I actually have to. So we're gonna start Mac Jones week 1. It's like, oh, what? And then an hour later, all of a sudden, Cam Newton starts because Mac Jones got injured with a thumb or something like that. Right. They could do that, right?
Yeah, I would put it past them to do something like that. But yeah, if they stick with Cam, if Cam does stay healthy, which I doubt, all 17 games, they don't make the playoffs.
No.
They don't make the playoffs.
Johnny says, will 3 teams make the playoffs in the AFC North? I had to go and take a look here. I also agree, no. Pittsburgh's going to falter off eventually.
I don't think Pittsburgh makes the playoffs. I think it's going to be Cleveland and the Ravens.
Yeah. I actually have Pittsburgh and Cincinnati both finishing 6-11 right now.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm very low on Pittsburgh only because if you're really actually going for another run at this with Big Ben, you need a way better offensive line than you actually have. There's no way you should have let 2 to 3 of those guys go. There's no excusing that whatsoever.
Right. I don't think the AFC. I heard what you said about 9-8. I don't think 9-8 gets into the playoffs this year.
No. Unless like 4 or 5 teams finished at 9-8, and you start looking at those kind of things only because of the expanded playoffs and the expanded extra weeks. So it could be interesting, but I could also be biting my tongue with Steeler fans because I do have one buddy that has been like, "Oh, I'll be coming for your head in December, buddy. Don't you worry." So, now, after Miami, and we do agree that we are going to beat Miami, but we just think it's going to be a lot closer.
I think Tua's going to be better this year. I think Tua got a raw deal, pulling him in, putting him – messed with his confidence. I think they messed that up. They seem to have decided to fix it. They just seem to have decided we believe in your kid, put a good line around him. So I think he's going to be pretty good. I don't know if it's going to make the difference, but I think he's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, and that was to there was a comment about that. There it is. If Tua can finish a game this year, yes, I do agree as well. Tua needs to finish a game, but we need to give some of these quarterbacks time, guys.
Thank you. Remember when we used to do that? Remember what Peyton? If we treated Peyton Manning the way we treat quarterbacks today, he wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame right now.
Nope.
He sucked the first couple of years.
And some people throw that on us, being like, "Oh, what about Jameis Winston?" We gave him 5 years, and we gave him 3 different types of quarterbacks, and we tried. Ownership never had this opportunity with Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians came in, he tried. It's a crappy situation, but that's also the type of person Bruce Arians is. He has to make that hard decision. He made the hard decision, and the GOAT came in, and I don't think anybody's pissed.
Now, in Jameis's defense, and I'm not a Jameis Winston fan, I always thought it was funny when he threw interceptions for no apparent reason. I know. Arians' offense is hard to learn. And every quarterback, including Carson Palmer, said your first year under his offense, you're going to throw a lot of picks. Just because of the nature of that offense, you're going to throw a lot of picks. You can't. All 30 plus, 33 or something interceptions. They were not all on Jameis. Sometimes the receivers just missed routes. Most of them were on Jameis. Most of them were his, but not all. And in Arians' offense, he really kind of got the short end of the stick. But I don't blame if they were bringing in when you're going to bring in Brady. I don't care who you are. I don't care how well your quarterback did, unless it's a Mahomes or something like that. You get rid of the guy. It's
just the way it is. It's literally just the way it is.
San Francisco had been smart because I don't know if you heard this story. Brady actually contacted San Francisco first. He wanted to go home and play and asked them about maybe coming on board, and they decided to stick with Jimmy G. They could have had Tom Brady, and they decided against it. So
I had also heard a funny story before we'll get back into obviously the schedule here. That one of the reasons why the 49ers did that and basically told Brady no. It's not necessarily because they thought he was old or anything like that. Is because they were apparently, and this isn't me knowing anything, this is what I've read, and this is kind of what I do like to believe here, because those GMs do not tell the truth all the time, and we're starting to see that more on shows when some of these guys start talking more truth. I actually think they were holding out for Aaron Rodgers. I think somewhere along the line, Mark Murphy talked to them, or whoever it is that makes the decisions there. And I believe it's Mark Murphy talked to the 49ers and said, listen, we can give you Jimmy G. We can give you a bunch of first round picks. We can make something work. But it would have to be, we would have to do something. And I bet you any money they were willing to make something work in the off season. If that Stafford trade never actually went through, because the Stafford trade that the Rams did, that it really changed the market for massive trades around the league, and especially for trading for a quarterback. I mean, he's 30. I want to say he's 31 or 32. He's never won a playoff game. He's done really well. He's a 5,000-yard throwing quarterback. And he went for 2 first rounders. And then some, I believe, for other picks, and their starter that took that, like their starting quarterback that took them to the Super Bowl. So now all of a sudden it's like, whoa, okay. So what could we actually get for Aaron Rodgers? And Denver's just like everything. I'll throw in Elway in a freaking Buick. I don't care. So, I think that's one thing that really kind of hindered the market, and it really starts harming teams when they start having success and they start doing everything the opposite way. Like the team we're going to talk about here for week 6, the Philadelphia Eagles. This team, after winning the Super Bowl, really did things the wrong way.
Yes, they really did.
And we got to go to them. It's not going to be easy company for our fans or for our coaching staff or even the players to be in. But it's not anything that we necessarily need to be too afraid of. Their defense has way too many holes. Their offense, though, this is me saying right now, if there's going to be any ass chewing that comes out of this from Bruce Arians, it's going to be because either Jalen Hurts is going to figure it out by then, and he's got a lot of tools that
Right.
are very, very fast on that offense. And my favorite running back in this draft, Kenneth Gainwell, he is on that team. He got drafted in the 4th or 5th round. And they just came out today and said that Philadelphia doesn't have just one running back. And I'm like, okay.
Let's discuss that. I hear you.
Yep.
What's their offensive line look like?
Very old and very decrepit. And that's why I think that the speed that they have is more outside stuff.
Yeah.
I think those 2 or 3 offensive line, like Kelsey's good, Lane Johnson's good, and they have another, I think the right tackle, he's injury prone, but he is respectable, is good. They do, the other 2 are like actual holes. Like they might as well just go with 3 offensive linemen and hope that it's going to work out. But
right now we have us 4-1 based on the matchups. I have us 5-0.
Yes. And then after this week, very quickly, we don't even need to discuss it any further. Besides the fact that I think Philadelphia's offense, I think Jalen Hurts will maybe toss for 300 yards and maybe run for 100. I think he might have one of those mobile quarterback games, but they still lose. It's not necessarily close. It's just flashy for the Eagles. Bucs take it. So I'm looking at I'll be 5-1 and you'll be 6-0.
6-0. Yeah.
Now we go to Chicago. Now Bucs Report's very own Harry Greek has made some very compelling arguments for his Chicago Bears, and I actually do agree very well with some of those arguments. Where he said, Nick Foles just came into this game and they just played the healthy hand of where we don't know, or the Bucs don't know who the heck they're playing against. They're just gonna play somebody, and our defense is gonna do their job. And hey, props to you guys, it worked. Because that defense is not there's a rapper that says ain't nothing to F with. And that Bears defense ain't nothing to F with, guys. Khalil Mack is still doing what Khalil Mack does very, very well. Trevathan or Trevathan or something like that. He comes in, he does really, really well. Like the scheme that they're running in there too. Like it doesn't seem like the names aren't necessarily household names either, besides Khalil Mack. But all of them work in tangent, and they work so well there that now with Justin Fields, and we're sitting there in week 7, he is still a rookie. And I think the Bears are gonna, they'll win a few games here. They'll win a couple early ones, and they might lose one big one. But I think they're gonna be on this little we're the Bears again. This is awesome. And now all of a sudden you're going into Tampa. You're dealing with that humidity.
Yeah.
Like, why do you think this kid left Georgia to all of a sudden go to Ohio State? He's like, I'm a flipping playing here in this humidity. I'm out of here. And that was in Georgia. Now all of a sudden you're coming down to Tampa. You're playing in the ship, buddy. Your defense is going to be just pissed off again because they're the ones going to be trying to keep you guys in the game. And Brady doesn't lose twice, unless it's the Giants, obviously, but that was many different years of a distance. But he doesn't lose twice to the same opponent like that. He just doesn't. So that defense comes in. Respectable game, like saying close wise, but I do think the Buccaneers would put up 28 to 33, 35 points on them. Bears will get 14 to maybe 21. I think we're kind of in agreement there, eh?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be a close game. I still think Tampa wins.
Is that Steven Glasgow? Didn't recognize him with a stakeout car. Johnny Dean, it's always a pleasure to have you here.
What's up, Johnny?
Teresa Baxter says, it's his new wall.
Yes. It's in
paper or
home.
Plastic.
Let's see. Where am I? There's my couch. I'm at home right now.
I remember seeing that for a casting gig one time. Anywho. So now all of a sudden I got the Bucs at 6-1. Steven here's got him at 7-0.
Yep.
We go to week 8. Still in my week or my week 1. My 1.0 predictions.
Okay.
I got them going into New Orleans. This is where Sean Payton gets to have a little bit of fun. At this point, I still think he doesn't actually have a starting quarterback. I think he just figures out matches, says Taysom will be good against Atlanta, go. Jameis will be good against, a defense that's not that great and an offense that's good, and we'll just let them both go throw 500 yards per game.
Right.
I think at this point, he would obviously want to throw Jameis in, but I think he throws Taysom in and Jason. So Taysom would get in for like maybe a quarter and a half, or even just half of a quarter, and then Jameis comes in for a bit. Then Taysom comes back in, and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. This is the reason. So for me, I do have us losing here, and I think it's a close one. And I think it's only because now the defense here starts to realize that, the NFL is not just a one quarterback league. There is multiple quarterbacks. There's multiple schemes that could happen within the game. There's a chess match within the chess match within the chess match now, especially when you're playing Sean Payton. He knows these guys. And he beat us twice in the regular season with the guys that we have. Now, obvious, me and you have talked about this with the other miscreants on the on the outside, is they did really good knowing, they played well having Drew Brees. Like, it was the last year they did the hoorah, and Drew Brees being able to play hearing everything was one of the only reasons why they kept him in there. Yeah. That being said, I think this is also a reason why Brady and a lot of other quarterbacks played as well as they did as early as they did, is because they could hear and be able to communicate a lot better. Right. This is actually the game that I think Brady struggles a little bit to hear the commands and be able to give these commands out to some of these wide receivers. I think Mike Evans might be in Lattimore's head. There is like this little fly or something. I apologize. I think Mike Evans might get in Lattimore's head, and Lattimore might get in his head as well. Right. So that may cause that bad communication where Brady might throw a pick six, and it's kind of on both him and Mike Evans. Might even be Chris Godwin at this point. The defense on the Saints side is still getting better, but it still needs work. But I still think they can get there and do the damage that needs to be done to Brady and at least get to him and put him on the ground. Yeah. We still keep it close. The noise gets to Brady. That's just my obvious opinion. I'm not saying this as, like any type of professional or anything. This is just me looking at some of the other stats that are out there. I personally have the Bucs losing here, which would put them 6-2. What do you think?
I don't think I agree with you. First, I do believe this is going to be, for me, the first loss. I don't think it'll have anything to do with the noise, because it's not like Brady hasn't played in noisy stadiums before, including KC is one of the loudest stadiums in the league.
Very true.
I think it's more that we are going to make the mistake of underestimating Jameis, and he's actually going to play really well.
Oh, very interesting.
That's what I think is going to happen. It's essentially going to be a trap game. We're going to Jameis. He's going to throw everybody an interception.
I am shutting down my Twitter if that happens, dude. There's no way in hell. I don't think anyone at Bucs Report is having that either, or any Bucs media. They'd be like, oh, okay. Unless you're, some of those other guys who are like, we still support Jameis Winston and all the Jameis Winston supporters who write books about them.
Yeah, that's going to be the best part, because if Jameis does play, let's say the majority of the game, like you said, and they beat us, oh my God, we're going to see it on Facebook and see, if we just kept Jameis, we could have won a Super Bowl with him. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. So, but I do think they're going to win.
And here's the thing: is Jameis could actually have a very good game here. Yeah. It could be something that snaps in him and actually turns the Saints into somewhat of a winning squad. I still think it's hard for them, even just taking the bias out of everything. Like, the fact that I really hate the Saints. I do think it's just going to be really difficult for them to actually scramble into the playoffs this year with all the teams that they're in the NFC. So, but it's funny that me and you both agree this is going to be that first loss for the Buccaneers. Well, me second, but first loss for you. Right. Week 9 is a bye. So now we are at week 10. We go into the Washington football team, which may actually have a name by that time.
That'd be great.
That'd be kind of cool. I'm kind of used to calling them the Washington football team, so I don't know. I don't know about
Washington Warriors. I heard that's one of the names they're considering. I think they should go with the Warriors.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
We beat ourselves last year against the Saints. I do agree with that.
Yeah, we did.
Talking Bucs schedule, rewind the show so I could catch up. That's funny, Johnny. I have splitting with the Saints, but sweeping the rest of the division. That's kind of, I agree with that.
Exactly right. Yep.
Bucs should just throw all the receivers at Lattimore and really get in him and Peyton's head. That would be kind of funny. Not against our defense. And FK the Saints, Rich 0655. You are becoming slowly one of my favorite fans on this show. That is for sure. Oh, I almost had you too, you little bugger. I'm gonna get him too. I probably just broke everything, and I'm sorry. But there's just like I cleaned out my utility room, and a couple of flies came out of there, and I'm like, you sons of guns. Now all of a sudden we're going to week 10. Sorry, we're talking about the Washington football team here.
Uh-huh.
This to me, and I've said this before, this is the game I'm going to not bet on. I don't necessarily want to watch. And I may get torn apart, and I actually don't want to have you on the show for this because of who's there. And here's the funny thing, though, dude. Here's the funny thing.
I hate him so much.
Here's the thing. You ready for this?
Yeah.
I got you too. You said
Nice.
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 I don't think it's going to be Fitzpatrick playing that game. I think Heineke gets in.
Really?
Yeah, based off of the playoffs. And what he did is the Bucs were like, who the hell is this little white guy running the ball? He diving in on Devin White, doing a 4.39 across the board. What in the hell is this guy? This is what I actually think. I think, and this is just me, if we look at that offense that they have, whether they use Fitzpatrick or not, you just have any quarterback in there, they got tools. Some of those weapons that they have are fun. Terry McLaurin is going to be one of the top wide receivers this year because he's finally going to have a facilitator. Antonio Gibson is still one of my favorite fantasy wide receivers or running backs this year and for all of Dynasty. I have tried to get him on so many Dynasties and ain't nobody giving me him, and I understand. Now they got Diomi Brown that's coming out of North Carolina. They got some other running backs, Jarrett Patterson that's also coming in there, and that offensive line, that offensive line is top 10 for sure. And then there is and thens on this team. And then this team, the Washington football team, one of the very reasons why we had troubles with them is the defensive line. One of the things that I wrote up at North Sports Dynasty was this beautiful write-up about if the Detroit Lions and the Washington football team were going to make a trade, because the Washington football team were obviously in talks to get up there and trade for a quarterback.
Yep.
If Detroit and them made a trade, I said that Jared Allen would be in there and a couple of picks, one being a first rounder. And now all of a sudden the Lions would have their defensive tackle. They sign him to a long term, and they don't have to worry about that for their defense going forward.
Right.
That's kind of what I was thinking. When I threw that to my co-host, he was like, okay, I'm not going to lie. I kind of want this because this would be really fun to see. All right, let's go. Now we don't have this trade. And the Washington football team still has the greatest defensive line in football right now. I know ours is very, very good and very, very scary.
Yeah.
I don't want Chase Young. I don't want Jared Allen. I don't want the other two whose names are now passing me, but they are very good in first round picks who have just gone in, and they just for some reason kept drafting more onto that line, and it's so damn scary. So this is where, and I don't think it's the defensive line that actually really did. I think they just do very good at keeping the Bucs at bay from putting up 35 points, that the Bucs get 28. And the Washington football team comes in and can put up 35 points on the Buccaneers. I even go as far as saying they can get to 38 points and making it a 38-28 game, because that to them would be their Super Bowl. If they can go this far and then beat the Bucs, the whole National Football League's narrative changes completely, because then everyone's like, okay, this team obviously has the formula to beat the big guys. If they meet in the playoffs, I don't think it's going to be the same, which in my where was it? There it is. I was looking at my playoff prediction that I had in my 1.0, and I have us actually playing the Washington football team in the second round, and we actually beat them. As they get too hyped that they're like, we can do this, that all of a sudden it's like, haha, newsflash, snap. We have more than one game plan that can win a Super Bowl here.
Right.
So for me, I think Washington actually beats the Buccaneers here. What do you think? No.
Let's put it this way. Ryan Fitzpatrick. I hate him.
I know you do.
Look, Ryan Fitzpatrick is the human embodiment of fool's gold. He's a great backup. The moment you make him a starter, you know this. He used to play for the Bucs. He's horrible. He got replaced by Jameis. Come on. No.
He also replaced Jameis, though. Like, I'm just saying.
Anybody. Hey, I'm not a bettor. So you guys, follow Andrew, follow Harry. But I put money in this game. I have that much faith in Ryan Fitzpatrick ability to F up. I really do. I have no problem putting money in this game. I truly believe he's horrible. And we're going to win this game. And it's not going to be that close because Ryan Fitzpatrick, one, if he starts and finishes, we're going to beat the hell out of him. And secondly, if Heineke starts, he's not – see, last time we didn't know anything about Heineke. He ain't fooling nobody this time. So all that he did last game, he ain't going to be able to do. So we got this game. There are two games I'm certain of in my heart. Okay, now nobody's played yet. Yeah, I'm certain we're going to beat Belichick. I'm certain. Okay, it's tragic. I really am certain of that. I know you got the redheaded beard thing going. And
no.
He is awful. He is awful.
No, that's hilarious. Jameis is capable of having great games, but he is not. Winning any champions anytime soon. I also agree with that. Washington football team is going to be a battle. Here's the thing, though. I actually am not going to lie. Imagine if this is just me. Imagine if Jameis Winston was the quarterback for the Washington football team right now.
Then I would say they might have a shot.
I'm not even going to lie. I would actually crap my bed. Being like, I don't want to see that at all. Thank you very much. No chance the Saints are going to beat us with Winston at quarterback. And that's why I said I think it'll be Winston and Taysom Hill.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
After the bye, though. And that's – so I was going to get into that there a little bit. The reason I think it's going to happen after the bye is I think after the bye, because – and this is just me. I like to think major hypotheticals here and a little bit outside the box a little bit. I think the week 8 loss against the Saints, against a division rival without, say, like a Hall of Fame quarterback at the helm, right? It's 2 quarterbacks and a Hall of Fame coach that defeat them. I actually think that's one of the reasons why they go to a drawing board and say, let's try and switch it up here a little bit. I think maybe Bruce Arians tries to insert himself into Brady's system at that point. And then when all of a sudden you're going against the Washington football team, it doesn't work when you have to play like a really elite defense. That's just what I'm personally thinking, because Washington football team is such an underrated team that that's another one of those teams that we were kind of saying earlier, like the Denver Broncos and the Miami Dolphins. You put like Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, or if the allegations are untrue, Deshaun Watson on any of those teams, I want no business with that team.
Well, the reason why I think we beat Washington football team is two things.
Fitzpatrick
snap passes. Brady's excellent at the short intermediate passes and the running game. And that's he's going to use that intermediate pass game and the running game to beat Washington the same way we did last time. I mean, that's literally we're not going to be holding on the ball forever. You remember Chase Young? I want Tom. I'm coming for Tom. Where's Tom? Yeah. How many times did he touch Tom Brady? How many times did he touch Tom Brady?
One maybe. I think. Was it 0? Okay, you got him 0. There you go. Speaking of 0, the amount of wins that I want to see this team ever get in our Durham Stadium ever again. We go to week 11 when we play the Giants, and I hate watching our home games just painted in blue. I do think the Giants have a better season this year, way better season this year. I don't necessarily think they make the playoffs. I do want to see a little bit of dilemma for them in the offseason that if they get a good draft pick, it's like, do we take a quarterback? Or do we still believe in what Manning's told us here? Oh, God, the Mannings have control over New York and Denver. What do we do? Oh, yeah, no, whatever. I don't think I know, and I would put a lot of money on this one. It will be close only because it's the Giants. It always is close.
Right.
It's the inevitable. Like we also have Brady, so it just adds to the curse.
Right.
But we are going to beat them. This is where, so I throw this in there. This is going to be weird. So back in the day, and this is a few years ago, when Brady and company with the Patriots came to our stadium, they beat us 19-14, but damn, we were close to beating the Patriots that year. And I was like, please. Oh my goodness, please. That would be so awesome just to have for like his Hall of Fame speech. Be like, oh, by the way, you got no wins in Raymond James, mother effer, until he comes here and plays with us, which is a whole different story.
Right.
But I only add that in there because there was that little bit of like, Tampa Bay is never going to beat the New England Patriots.
Right.
And this is, that mentality that a lot of Buccaneer fans still have with the Giants is like, you guys just don't do well against the Giants. And you're not going to beat the Giants because, Daniel Jones now has all these weapons and talent and this, that, and everything else. Slow your horses. This is now where I finally think JPP and all these guys start figuring it out. Now, all of a sudden, you've just lost to the Washington football team. After a bye, which you went into that bye because you lost to the Saints. They're not losing no more. This is where Brady and all them finally snap and say, like, this is it. Like, we're done. Like, we're not losing no more. And this is also where I do agree, and I have in my rankings and stuff, Bucs don't lose anymore from here on end. So we can get that out of the way.
We have 3 losses though. So, right. And by the way, I actually do. Let's go back because I missed this question from you. I do have them losing to LA Rams.
Okay. So you do have them losing to the Rams. Okay. I got you.
So I have 2 losses. You have 3 losses. Okay.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing is the 3 losses. That's it. I do have the Bucs finishing 14-3. I would love to see them go 17-0, but I do have the Bucs finishing 14-3.
Right.
And the losses coming in from the Washington football team, the Saints, and the New England Patriots. I have to think about that for a second.
I'm surprised you don't have them losing to the Rams. That's interesting.
No, I think what I said earlier was I think the Rams need a couple of weeks to get it together first, and I think the Buccaneers could capitalize on that because Stafford might have to have a Stafford type game like he did in Detroit, where he's like, that way. Damn it, they got so many corners, man. I can't remember this. So, but we're going into week 12 here. This is a good matchup because we're going to Indianapolis. The Colts are a very good team.
Yep.
I do like the Colts. They have an amazing defense. I don't necessarily think Carson Wentz he's going to be a good facilitator, but I know that the Colts are another one of those teams where it's like, imagine Deshaun Watson went to the Colts. It's like, I'm done.
Wow. Yeah.
That one, but they would never happen because it's in division.
Why
do you think Julio Jones was not on the list for the Buccaneers? Obviously, we don't need him.
Right.
But yet we weren't going to do that either. Like they're cap space and all that, and the Falcons were like, no. Even if you gave us a first rounder, just no, piss off. Like we're not doing that.
Right.
We go to Indianapolis. Brady likes playing Indianapolis respectively. But it is an early game. So I think that they can get it done. By 7 points. That 7 points would be hard earned because now you got to start getting in that rhythm where it's like, okay, we have to win these games and we have to earn these games. So now all of a sudden they earn this game. They win it by 7, and I think it's a shutdown fourth quarter. I just think that the defense does not allow Indianapolis to get any points in the fourth quarter, even though they do have a team that could definitely put them over the top there as well. And I think you agree on that as well, don't you?
Yeah, I accept I haven't won by more than 7. I think it's going to be somewhere between 10 and 14. I just don't. I think Carson Wentz will be better. Yeah. I don't think Indy's defense is better than our offense.
No. Then that's fair. That's fair. The defense is going to be elite, though. I will call my shot. That Colts defense is going to be elite in 2 years.
Yeah.
The fact that Kwity Paye fell to them in this draft is so absolutely dumb. Me and Alex were sitting here like after that happened, and we were like, "Yo, what's the one like player to?" And I was like, "I don't like effing Kwity Paye to the Colts at all." I was like, "They're like, oh, we could either get a really good offensive tackle, or we could just make our defensive line that much better." Right. It's like, you sons of a guns, man. And so after that, we are going to Atlanta. They always do again, they play us very, very well.
Yep.
But I think they actually play us well, better in week 2 than they do in week. What are we at now? 13.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they play us better in week 2 than they play us in week 13.
They don't have a defense.
No. And at that point, I think even the good players on their defense, there's still too many other holes.
Yeah.
Brady is just going to be able to hit those holes way better than anybody else. I think at this point, though, Kyle Pitts may have a really good game. I think Kyle Pitts or Calvin Ridley will have a very good game, but it'd still be like, oh, cool, Atlanta has 14 points, and all that came from one wide receiver. Congratulations.
Right.
You still lost the game. So moving on from that, now we get to a couple of other hard ones here. Now we're going to be going back home, but we get a double header 2 Sundays. We're going to be playing the Buffalo Bills at 2:25.
Mm-hmm.
And the Buffalo Bills may be a team this year that actually starts doing what I like to call a storm front. And the storm front is a term that I just use because I'm an idiot, but it's a term that I use in hockey. A lot of these teams do a storm front to essentially win a Stanley Cup. And what that means is you chill, whether you're a good team or a bad team, you chill. And then all of a sudden there's a coaching change or somebody snaps in the locker room and breaks a stick over their knee and says, we are way better than a lot of people think we are.
Right.
And this is what Pittsburgh has done to win their cups. They have been mediocre until about trade deadline. Then they do better. You know, the St. Louis Blues were the same way. They were plus 10,000 at the trade deadline to win the cup that they won that year, dude.
Yep.
That would have been a nice little $10 bet put down. Like, whoa, what? I'm sorry. Did I just have $1,000 in my account? What the hell just happened? What the hell just happened? This is where I think, like the Buccaneers are going to do a storm front as well. But this storm front, which is basically just a massive winning streak, I think the Bills are going to start showing everybody at this point too who the hell they are. And this loss is going to harm them and help them at the same time. The Buccaneers win this game probably by about 10 points.
Wait, where are we playing?
We're playing home for this one.
And you think the Bills beat us at home?
No, I think we beat the Bills by 10.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. If we're playing Buffalo, I give it to Buffalo. I give the edge to Buffalo. But since we're playing at home, nah.
Yeah, if we were playing in Buffalo at that point and it was a nice big blizzard, I listen, I love blizzard games. Like if we had a blizzard game here in Edmonton, I would be all over that. If they a lot of people don't get sold on that. They're like, I'm not going to I'm not going to sit outside in the freaking snow to watch a football game. Dude, those tickets up here are like $30, probably $35. I would deck out and go watch that. I am all over those games. Snowball fights in the stands.
Yeah, the Bucs fans have fun, man. The Bills fans have fun. The Bills Mafia. I love the good Bills game when it's freezing, just because they are all about it.
I don't want them to get like what Minnesota has. Minnesota games. They didn't have they had some snow games, but they didn't have blizzards because they are like right on those massive lakes, guys.
Right.
The Bills are in a perfect location where it's just like, here comes 3 feet of snow before your game. Right. It's so beautiful. And I like the best football game I ever played in high school. We went to this other school named Hammersholt, and Hammersholt, try to spell it. It's like there's an S and a J and a Z and a K, and I don't even know. But they were essentially the Vikings. Right. And imagine the Vikings uniforms with the horn on the things, but it was all gold and orange was their colors. And it was like actually pretty intimidating sometimes. I kid you not. When we got off the bus, we do our lap around the field before we do our stretches, and our star running back goes and pukes off to the side. We are sitting there, and this one little drop of snow just kind of like hits me right on the nose, and it wasn't cocaine, guys, don't worry. And it just hits me on the nose, and I'm like, oh, we might get a little bit of snow for this game, right? And my one buddy turns around to me, or my one teammate turns around to me, and he goes, nah, man, I think we're going to get a blizzard. And I'm like, okay, cool. You keep that mindset because I don't want to deal with this, right? And I'll bring him in here. Hello, Johnny. So I can finish my story. I'll let Johnny participate in it. By the time the opening kicker, it was snow, Johnny. Don't you worry, okay? And my mustache just has like one little hair that's been curling up into my
I've been
nose and
watching
making
that all
it
night,
itchy.
dude.
And I'm just like, oh, I hate it. But anyways, by the time opening kickoff happened, there was snow on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
By the time, oh my god, by the time they because we kicked it off to them, by the time they got it to us, there was about 3 inches of snow on the ground. By the time first quarter was done, that's when the fun began because I could not see 3 feet in front of me. And I played defensive end at that point. And so
wow.
I was having fun because all of a sudden I would just check in and put my arm out this way. And if the running back was going through, I grab him, put him down to the ground. We all just gang tackle him. It's all good. Or I just close the hole and he can't get through and he's trying to bounce out. It's just absolute madness.
Right.
We won the game 38-3. And obviously here in Canada, we still have the same rules. 3 points is a field goal. There was the fourth quarter. They got down to like maybe the 10-yard line on us. And it was third down and we play with 3 downs. And they just bring out this field goal unit. And I was like, there ain't no effing way they're going to kick a field goal. Like, there's no way. Their dude kicked the field goal. I still think it didn't go in. And a few of us still thinking it. Both refs looked at each other and were like, and just did this. And I'm like, screw that. Not in this. That is not just a story that you get to have for that kid. That is bull.
That's one of those situations where if it goes between the refs, it's a field goal.
There you go.
I hated it. I hated that one.
There you go.
But anyways, when we talk about this Bills team here, it's not to say it's an easy win, but I think that Josh Allen, he's the type of quarterback that if it starts to get a little bit too pressurous, he's going to start throwing that ball a little bit away that he needs to. And he's only got Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, that was 3 years ago. That was 3 years ago. The Josh Allen from last year was not that guy.
I agree. But when it comes down to the fourth quarter, some of the defenses that he's had to play for some of the, the flashes of brilliance that he's done has been, against the Cardinals, say for one. The Cardinals defense does need a little bit of help. They have done it against the Dolphins. Now, granted, I do think the Dolphins defense at that point was kind of like ours. They were, laughing stock to the media, but we as the fans knew it just needs time to blossom to this beautiful thing that it was. I also do think that our defense is going to cover the targets that he actually does throw to, because there's only 4. And like, I'm a fantasy guy too. Like, there's really only is 4. Like, he's not going to just sit there and try and check it down to Devin Singletary because he's not going to be able to catch it. But Stephon Diggs is going to be covered very well that game. This is all just my opinion. I do think Cole Beasley then is just going to get smothered by either.
Excuse me, but when have you ever seen Stephon Diggs actually be covered?
Right.
There is games out there.
He's had bad games, but his bad games are still good for most teams.
Yeah.
This is true, but someone could also come on this and be like, "You tell me a bad game that Tyreek Hill has had," and it's like, okay, Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Not just Super Bowl, but he had an outstanding first quarter against us in the first game.
Yes, and that's my point just on Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs has had a lot of great games, and he is one of the most consistent wide receivers out there. I just do think that if he is, because at the beginning of that game, if I'm just looking at it from roster to roster, obviously no injuries, he's not going to see the ball that much because the Bills will probably want to go to the other receivers that they have and try to catch the Bucs defense off a little bit there.
Right.
I do think it's going to be more of like a third quarter, fourth quarter type. Stephon Diggs has to show off. I do think he still gets like 55 to 65 yards in a touchdown.
I think it's going to be Todd Bowles with tape.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And that's why I think and
I stole that from Misador, but I agree with Misador on that.
Misador's comment there.
Yeah.
Boom. What people fail to realize is Todd Bowles has film on 3 teams, and with returning all-stars, he knows where and how to adjust. This defense will be top 5. I also agree. I agree.
Yep.
And that's why I think talking about the momentum that we need to go on to get back to that Super Bowl, this is where you need to smother that offense.
Right.
Again, like Sean Murphy-Bunting is going to smother Cole Beasley, and I would almost put so much money on it. That Gabriel Davis, though, he's going to be that X factor because if he can be able to start going off, and John Brown, that's
that
where
Bills
all of a
game
sudden
I
we're
have
gonna
as a
pop.
loss, but I don't want it to be a loss. But it won't be. It's not going to be a blowout. No way. This is going to be one of those epic Brady games where it comes down to the last second or last drive.
Now, let's all just agree here. When we talk about blowouts is 17 points plus. Can we agree with that?
I'll give that.
10 points is,
Actually, I lean more toward 21 points plus. But.
That's even fit. That's also fair. That's fair. I've also I lean more between the like anything 8 points to the 14 or whatever. That's a good, close, respectable game, and you would have to look at the stats to actually see if it was a little bit more closer than you would think or a little bit further off.
You have to watch the game too, because sometimes a blowout can be a small point percentage, but that's because the coaches are taking it easy on the other team.
Right.
Yep. And what I think with this 10 points being the cover here, the Bucs winning by 10 points, is Josh Allen would probably throw a contested interception, probably to Carl Davis. He'd run that into the house. Bucs all of a sudden have a 7-point lead. He goes and he tries to drive it down the field. He can't do it. He's got to punt it away. Bucs just kill the clock, kick the field goal, make it a 10-point game. Bills can't do anything about it. That's basically my mentality on that game too.
Yeah.
Moving on, though, we still stay in town. We got the Saints coming in. They're on their high horse. They're like, haha, Merry Christmas, mother effers. We're in your stadium, and we're not going to smack that right on the mouth. This, I kid you not, and I'm putting money on this, 55-14.
Wow.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a smackdown, but I don't think it's going to be 55-14.
I think
that Saints defense is still strong, man. You still got to understand that. Yeah, they are.
55-14.
I think they hang a 40 burger on them. I don't know about 50, but 40 for sure. Yeah.
I do think when I say 55, that's just me obviously hoping. I'll probably put a bet in that day that say the Buccaneers put 50 points in.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 40-14. I can see that. Sure.
And the Buccaneers did put – now, if we're talking about – the Buccaneers have 2 50-point games in the last couple of years here. And one was against the Rams and one was against –
the Rams is the only one I can remember.
Was it just the Rams? Or maybe we had 49 the one time.
Misador actually called that one.
Yeah.
Was it? I don't measure blowouts by score anymore, but more by possession. That's also good. That's good. That's very good.
Misador, you know that's a lie because you're the one always talking about the 50 burger.
Speaking of burgers, someone likes sausage.
Hey.
So there's that. Now, no, I do think this is a blowout. I do think this is over 21 points.
This is how I expect this game. I expect us to be ahead. Jameis Winston come in with his fiery attitude at the end of a game, score 3 or 4 touchdowns, whatever we got the lead on. And then right there at the final drive where he's going to catch up, he's going to throw an interception.
Yep. I think it'll be 42-14. Jameis throws 2 picks.
That's a good one.
I think Jameis.
No, I think he'll score 3 touchdowns. Look, man, we've seen Jameis's and his games, and when they're behind, I said we because he was our quarterback at the time, but when we're behind, he does some amazing stuff, gets us back in the game, and then loses the game on the last drive.
Now,
every time.
You said 3 touchdowns. I do agree. I think he'll be the reason why the Saints may have 21 points at that point, but I think he still throws 5 interceptions. That's just me.
2 picks.
These secondary guys do know Jameis Winston's tendencies,
right.
and Levante David can write a map about what Jason.
Laser lock on to you there, bud.
Right,
so,
right.
No, I do think it's a blowout.
That guy.
All
day, man.
Carolina is week 16. We go to them. This one, I actually think Carolina does respectable against us.
Yeah.
See, I'm so tired of Carolina being pumped up because of some draft picks and a new coach. That's the whole point. You got draft picks and a new coach. All right. Mm-hmm. It's going to take time for that team to gel. There's no Brady sitting there to get them together. Nope. There's no experience on that team to get them to gel together.
I think they're going to do okay.
And they still don't have a middle linebacker.
No, Kuechly is still gone, and they're going to have to figure that one. But no, I do actually think Carolina, like this season, because we are talking now the very end of the season. They go, we're going to play you here in our town, then we're going to go play somebody else, and then we're going to play you to end off the season. I do think Carolina, like the offensive weapons that they have, they might be able to start clicking eventually at the end of the season. There.
Wait, what week are we in? We in 15 or 16 at this point?
This is week 16.
Oh, yeah, that's a U-Haul game, man. People are already planning their vacations. Carolina's not even – Carolina's – that's a U-Haul
Brady's
game.
not planning on no vacation. He wants that switch.
No. I'm not talking about the Bucs. I'm talking about every team that's not going to make the playoffs. It's a U-Haul game.
Now, here's my question to you guys then. What do you think the Carolinas' finishing record would be, just based off of what they have right now? No injuries.
I think they finish 9-8.
Ooh.
Carolina?
Yep.
Yeah.
Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay. The best we ever did with that kind of structure in a team was 5. So I'm not putting them above us. No.
What are you going with?
They're going to be. Well, I probably will put them above us. 5 to 6 wins.
5 to 6 wins, and it's funny because
it takes time for a team to gel, man, and that team is.
No, I think they luck into a couple of wins, Johnny. So
6 and 11.
9-8 or 8-9.
I got them 6 and 11.
So I could give you a more accurate if I looked at their schedule, but
yeah.
I got them 6 and 11, and they're one of those teams that can sneak in some. I don't like to say easy wins. I use that term lightly, but they can sneak in some wins against some bad teams. So
right. I mean, look at what the Jets did.
Where are we at right now? How many wins do you got us with?
I got 2 losses. He has us with 3 losses so far.
Yeah.
Well, I had 3 total on the year, so.
And that's the same with me as well. And that's what I said right after I had them losing the Washington football team game is we not losing anymore after. There's close games that we're going to have. There's certain obvious close games that we're going to have against Buffalo. I even think the Giants will keep us respectable until the fourth quarter, and then they're going to screw it up somehow.
Right.
And see, I think everybody kind of agrees here. It's like 5 and 12. Panthers could win 6, maybe.
I'd be willing to go 8 and 9, but the reason why I agree kind of more with Johnny in this case, I agree more with Andrew, that they'll luck into a couple of wins because they're going to be teams that are thinking like you, that they're no good, and they're going to come in there a lot like the Rams did last year when they played the Jets, and the Jets ended up beating them. They're going to luck into a couple of wins they shouldn't win. They're going to beat a couple of teams they shouldn't beat.
And Sam Darnold's not horrible.
Right.
He just obviously
needs Sam Darnold is, man. All right, man.
I don't think anyone does.
This is psychology, man. Once the guy has gotten gun shy, he don't just get over it. They're going to a new team. That didn't happen with our kicker. Remember, they don't just get over that. That's what put David Carr out of football.
You're giving too much credence to that one game. Because if I remember correctly,
I don't. You're wrong about that.
They beat the Rams,
but he was still gun shy. Did you see the throws he was making in that game? He was gun shy. He was rushing his progressions. He was scattered all over the place. They got lucky to win that game.
Sometimes geography can make a difference. We'll see. He may still be gun shy.
Sometimes geography.
I've never seen a quarterback get over it. I've never seen it happen.
Geography is the only reason, like some people don't have a full college degree. Thank you. Right. But I also agree with this. 4-13, Sam Darnold is trash. If they go 4-13, you know for a fact they're going to grab a new quarterback in the draft. You know for a fact. But going to the next week, at this point, I think we have the Bucs. So the Bucs are at 12 wins. Yes, 12 wins at this point. Now we go to the Giants. I also think this is a little bit closer of a game because I do have a little bit of faith in Zach Wilson and Bob Saleh and that system. Obviously, it needs time. It needs time to develop and to be what it is. They are still probably going to have a top 5 to top 7 draft pick going this year. But if they can keep themselves in these games with some of these guys, Zach Wilson may get the confidence to be like, you know what? We could do something here in New York. And being able to stay within a 10-point game of the Bucs would probably be the answer of good confidence for the Jets. I have it only being a 9-point game. I think the Bucs would win like 39-30. And the only reason I say 30 points is going on there. I think maybe the offense might have a bad turnover around on the 20 or something like that.
You're talking about the time of year when Tom Brady is rolling, right?
Wow. Okay. Okay. First of all, yes, Johnny, I know that. Steven, say that again.
I said, you think the Jets are going to put up 30 on our defense? Wow.
At the end of the season, yes, only because now we're going to start
We do
looking
have
at.
some rookies we need to actually try out a little bit. They might just toss
Come on.
some rookie defensive players in there. Who knows?
Johnny's
Dude,
kind of
that's not happening.
Johnny's leaning into a little bit of what I'm saying though is the Bucs. If the Bucs already have losses, we're not playing for an unbeaten season here, right? Now all of a sudden the Buccaneers may start not necessarily resting starters, but let's say Kappa and Marpet are our major interior linemen. Let's say they're a little banged up, right? Let's pull them out of there by halftime and put Hainsey in there. Right?
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
I can say, and now I got everybody tearing me up here. 30, more like 3. Yeah. Yeah, I know everybody's going to probably come at me at that. The only reason
that's a good point though. What he just said, 30. If you're saying there's got 30 points on the board, they're not pulling anybody, dude.
It's only offense that I think they would. Maybe Vita Vea or some of the beat up guys.
The only way I can see them putting up 30 points on our team, because we're playing in New York, right? The only way I can see them putting up 30 points on our team is if we are up by 50 at halftime and we pull all of the starters. That is the only way I see it happening, man.
Yeah, I agree with you, bud.
Pull all of the starters and then just let them play.
Listen, I am eventually going to make a highlight reel of some of the main things that I've said in the offseason. And then at the end of the actual season, I'll pull them up. And then if for example, if the Jets put, say, we'll just say 14 or even 3 like that, right? I'll obviously be held very much accountable. But say they put up 31.
I just got to say something really sarcastic.
I'm putting both of you guys on and being like, what the did I tell you?
In 20 years, in 20 years, yeah, Brady's probably been pulled out of game. No, he hasn't.
No, Brady. I don't.
No, they put their foot on the neck. When they smell blood, they put their foot on the neck.
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah.
If anybody came to them and said anything about, well, let's let up, Brady would have a
Okay. Hold on. This is the reason why he is becoming one of my favorite fans here. With Bulls going back to the team that fired him, Rip Darnold. Now Darnold isn't there. It is Zach Wilson, but that is, you know what? That's a very good point.
That's why I think we put up 50.
Bulls can walk around the stadium and go, hey, where's Darnold? Where's Darnold at?
It'll probably be a lot like the Detroit game last year. We put up 50, and then we rest people, and we maybe have some backup defense guys go. And I still don't even think with our backups they get to 30. I just think they might get to 28.
Look what Gabbard did to Alex's guys.
Yeah, that's true. No, I was going to say, really look at the wide receiving core that they do have, though. The 3 wide receivers that they do have on the Jets, though, are the real deal. They are going to be top 10 this year for sure. And I say that without question. I don't think Denzel Mims should be underrated at all. I think he is he's a tinier and only by a little bit, but he's a tinier version of Mike Evans. Like Mike Evans makes some really damn good catches on the side of the field, and this Denzel Mims guy can't do it. And so can Elijah Moore coming in there, and Corey Davis is just there to make some money for New York and be flashy.
I got news for you, man. Here's a news flash. Everybody talks about Mike Evans deep and Mike Evans on the side of the field. Mike Evans has been really good in the slot also.
Oh yeah, he has.
Yeah,
he has. But I mean, any tall, that's the thing. Everyone keeps the tall wide receivers out wide, and they're like, just jump up and get it. Put these tall wide receivers in the slot and put the little guys on the outside.
We did that with Vincent Jackson, remember?
Yes, we did.
I think that has a lot to do with what happened to him too. Though he took a lot of hits, man.
There was, what defense was it? I actually think it was the Jets that one game where Vincent Jackson and Mike Evans lined up on complete opposites, and you just saw defenders going like this, like.
Oh yeah.
I don't want this. And then we go to the last week here. It's we have Carolina coming in. Even if we start some of the starters here, it goes into us playing Atlanta last year. You had a good game the first time we played against you, and we realized, oh yeah, we're playing a division rival here. I don't think it's the same thing here in Carolina. Carolina may be looking at don't come at me too hard here, Johnny, or anybody out there, but some GMs obviously look at it and they're like, hey, if you can pull some starters here so that we could possibly, allow them to put 7 or 14 more points on us so we can get that 8th spot that we really like, that would be great.
They might. Yeah.
People look at the Bucs, like people held us accountable the year before we got Winston there, where it's like, oh, Derek Cutter just randomly taking out all the starters in halftime or the fourth quarter when they have a lead, and now all of a sudden Atlanta comes back.
Nobody really wants that murderer's row. They're going to be fighting for that first seed, man.
Yeah. Carolina for number 1 overall pick.
Oh no, I thought you were talking about the Bucs resting people and stuff.
No. I see. I actually think by this time the Bucs would have the number 1 seed. Give me 1 second. By mind, I think Los Angeles would win week 18 to give them a 13-4 record, and I don't think anybody else would even come close. So I think the Bucs could possibly win this game and obviously rest some starters. Right. So to all the fans who actually stayed with us, which I do respect you, it was a nice turnout today with a lot of fans here. I got the Bucs finishing right now 14-3, with my losses coming from New Orleans week 8, Washington football team week 9, and the New England Patriots in week 4.
I gotta go, man.
Okay, Johnny, have yourself a good night.
Jumped on here. I have one thing to say. The only reason I jumped on here was to tell Stephen Glasgow, you love some Fitzmagic.
Stop it. Get out. Go away.
All right, Johnny, we are going to do the goulash here in a second, so stay out in the comment section, and we'd love to have you. And then, Stephen, what you got him also finishing 14-3?
Yeah, I got him at 15-2.
Or 15-2. Okay.
15-2.
That would also be really nice.
Rams early and the Saints the first time they play them. That's it.
Perfect. So since it's just me and you tonight, we're going to hit this goulash here. And it's funny because I know you will get some of these. I got one good one for last. Just kind of make sure where it is. There it is. Perfect. So hating the Packers, Bears, Vikings, and Lion fans, and Aaron Rodgers all coming together.
So true.
Just a friendly reminder to everybody out there. Oh, wait, hold on. Before I do this, let me make this official.
Stupid Bucs fans say.
It's not actually that, but
nice.
Yeah, I'm going to play it every time just in honor of Rick. Just let you guys know, a visual representation of how long Tom Brady has been in the league. That's Madden 2001 compared to now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just to let you know, number of Super Bowl wins by countries, 52 in the States. Nobody else has even come close, so y'all can just shut your mouths until you try. Speaking of trying, Ezekiel Elliott, Michelle, Zeke, you ready to roll week 1? Zeke, girl, I am ready to go. This is a good one. Johnny B posted this one on Twitter. All these turnovers seem a little suspect. Has Jameis Winston been near the Amelia Arena today? # go Bolts. Nice. Jordan Love has one good day at camp. Packer fans, I don't want to play with you anymore. It's the silliest thing I've ever seen. The year is 2030. Arch Manning is a young star quarterback and beats Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Like his uncle Eli did twice 20 years earlier, Brady finally retires.
Dallas Cowboys fans posted that crap.
Did they?
Yeah, I have a buddy who's a Dallas Cowboys fan who posted that.
I'm not going to lie. If Arch Manning goes to the Dallas Cowboys in the next 5 years, I don't want any part of it being an NFL fan. Arch Manning is possibly, if Arch Manning is given the right opportunity with the right coach, which his uncles and his grandfather are probably going to make sure that it effing happens.
Yep.
He may go down in history as a top 5 quarterback of all time. And that's just because of the family and some of the tools that he already possesses.
Unless he goes to Dallas and Jerry's still alive, then he's got no shot.
This is also very true. Kirk Cousins already forming a dangerous connection with Patrick Peterson. It's sad to be a Vikings fan. I think it was sad being a Buccaneers fan back in the day when people really paid $50 to watch Logan Paul put up Jameis Winston numbers in a boxing match. Which, to be honest, I'm not even gonna lie. That's rude because these are more Tim Tebow numbers if I've ever seen them.
Tebow. Wow.
By the way, 2021 coming soon. 6 seasons, no playoffs. All you poor Bronco fans. The good old days are gone, aren't
Yeah.
they?
Yep.
Speaking of good old days, F Philly, don't show us on camera. Our wives think we are at work. The wives are also at work.
Yeah, they're working all right.
Yep. And if you guys don't know who that is, he's one of the greatest salesmen, milk carriers. Like, this guy's a multi-purpose career. He's amazing at what he does. Disgusting, I know. And last but not least, for the goulash tonight, my favorite one that I found tonight. Daddy-daughter date at Disney.
That's messed up. Oh, that's messed up.
I was hoping to have Matt and everybody. I was happy to have a few more miscreants on tonight because once this one got posted, I knew it was going to get a kick.
That is
This is
oh
great.
man, that's messed up. That's messed up.
I really do love this daddy daughter.
I actually think with Green Bay for a while, I don't know. I'd love to hear what side you are on regarding Green Bay. Do you believe, hey, because there's two camps. There's, hey, they should get rid of him and trade him while they can for whatever they can get for him now.
Yep.
Or are you on the side that's like, man, which is what the side Green Bay seems to be leaning towards, man, F. Aaron Rodgers, make him sit and see if he retires and screw him. Which side of the fence are you on?
Honestly, I'm kind of in the middle of it because I see where ownership's coming and I also see where Aaron Rodgers is coming from it. So my prediction of what's going to happen is the Packers organization is not going to move. They're basically going to tell them, like, you can either sign this extension with us or you can sit out and everything will just get ugly and we're never actually going to trade you. Or we're going to find this middle ground where you play one more season. You try to get this team to the Super Bowl because it's also another team that if you just put like Russell Wilson on there or whatever, you're going to do really, really good. You do that for us and you keep us in a consistent window. You help us generate some money with the lost revenue that we had last year with no fans. So you at least get your fans.
Right.
You give us 1 year and then we can trade you. And then some team will give you like a 3-year extension. We will allow that to happen. That I think would probably be the answer, as long as the San Francisco rumor is somehow proven to not be true, that they were trying very hard to get him. Like, say, even with the 3rd overall pick, they're like, hey, we'll give you the 3rd overall pick, which even if I was Green Bay, it's like, okay, cool. That's awesome. You're giving me the 3rd overall pick. We're not in the quarterback market. So I don't want that pick. And I don't want to try and trade it again because people are going to see what I traded to get it. And now all of a sudden think that I'm just not going to, so I obviously wouldn't want to be in that mess. The Jordan Love situation, you let him sit for another year because now he's actually getting out there and he's throwing and he's doing a little bit better.
Right.
You got to give him another year, maybe throw him in a couple of times at the end of the year when the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers are actually kicking some butt and stuff. Right. But if you decide to let him retire, you guys are screwed. But also at the same time too, if you think that if you sign him to this massive extension, you're also screwed.
Right.
Because then he could also just complain and be like, I'll just retire when I get that initial money.
Right.
Because you guys tried to screw me. So you got to meet in the middle. You have to admit that you were wrong and you have to smack Rodgers in the mouth a little bit too and make him admit that he was wrong and be like, okay, we will help you choose your destination.
Right.
You just have to play ball with us a little bit here for at least another year.
Right. I agree with that. I like the concept of it. I don't know if Green Bay thought of that. Hey, play ball with us for a year, and after this year, we'll let you go. Especially no matter how well you do, we'll let you go. That would be a great compromise. But I think everybody's so caught in their feelings. I don't think anybody's near that point. I'm actually I thought, man, let him go to Denver, and because they don't want to trade him in the conference. Because if he does well, especially they don't want to go to San Francisco because they God forbid you go to San Francisco and they make it to the championship game and Green Bay doesn't. People would be getting fired in Green Bay. I think going to Denver was great and then getting a bunch of picks. But personally, my personal belief is they should just call his bluff and say, okay, because Aaron's like, well, I'm going to, if you don't do this, this, and that, and you don't fire the GM, then I'm going to retire. I'm like, okay, because he's 38 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, he's getting there.
Yeah, go ahead, dude. Let's see how well you do. You got to stay out for at least 2 years.
Yep. Well, see,
let's see who wants to when you're 40.
See, and it might actually suck because now that we've seen the success with Brady here in Tampa Bay, there might actually be like 14 to 16 teams in 2 years that maybe light up and just give him a 3-year contract.
Crazy. And see, that's the power of the Brady effect. Not everybody can do what Tom Brady does at 40. Drew Brees couldn't do it. Drew Brees was already declining at 39, and they just held on to him for 2 more years. Not everybody can do that. I don't think Aaron Rodgers can do it. Well, first of all, he gets hit way more often than Brady does. He's not going to be able to do it. There's only so many hits your body can take.
True.
And unless he's on that TB12 method, which he isn't.
No, he is not. Not yet, anyway. Or that at least that we know of.
Let's see him sit up for 2 years and then come back. Yeah, I'm 40 years old. I'm ready to go.
I agree with that as well, too. No, I agree with that as well. I do. I think if Rodgers was actually given the ability to play in a warm climate, like say he for some reason got to go down to Miami and they traded a couple of first rounds that they've now got there. I actually think the Heat and that staying away from the cold because he's been around that cold for a while may actually give him another 2 years to his youth, and because he's seen Brady do it, he'll be like, screw it, I'll go to the retirement area and go do another 5 years, right? I agree, though, that I do not think he would be at the top eliteness that he does possess, though. I am going to get you out of here because I am going to shut this down here, Steven. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
Hey, guys, I'm on the Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, of course, here. I'm on YouTube channel, but you'll find me, of course, on the Bucs Report show from time to time, usually on what's cooking down south. Love the show, and of course, live from the cheap seats. Love Andrew. You're doing a fantastic job. Rick, sorry you lost your job, but Andrew's killing it, bro. Just got to tell you. With that, thanks, brother, for having me on. I appreciate you. Hope you have a great night. Not
a problem, dude. I appreciate you coming on as always, and don't worry. I will pop on Rick's show here soon. Now I'm allowed to get out, okay? It's my Saturdays. I'm very drunk. I'm not just going to pop on Rick's show and be like, hi, Rick, I miss you, Rick. Oh, my God.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah, but no, my boss would be very, very upset if I did that. So, as always, thank you for coming on, Steven. We'll talk to you again next weekend.
Thank you, brother. Take care.
Later, buddy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my time is up, because I have to get some food and figure out which hair it is in my mustache here that is actually tickling my nose. Because I promise you guys, it's not what you think. It's not booger sugar. It's not anything like that. It's really irritated me for like an hour and 42, and I don't have any commercials to go to, so I do apologize. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. That was my look at the 2021-2022. Did I have to write down 22 to 23? I hope not. 2022 to 2023, 2021 to 2022. There we go. Season breakdown of the Buccaneers and how we look next year and against our matchups here. None of our games, guys, are going to be that big of a blowout or anything like that. Remember that. Except for the Saints the last time we played them. You can almost book that for me. You can hold me accountable in a few months here. But that being said, the Bucs are going to have a good season. Despite any injuries, despite any mishaps or anything like that happen, this is a team that you can now officially be very excited for. Around this time last year, a lot of us were like, he's old. And this team has never really shown what it's capable of. Well, it's because you weren't really that true of a fan. A lot of us true fans have sat here through a lot of crap for a lot of years for this team to actually build something that we were pretty proud of. We just know that this is the game of football, and we need somebody there to sling the ball in the appropriate places that they needed to go. And this is why we not only are the most successful now, this is the reason why we won the damn Super Bowl with that guy right there at the helm. This is your Super Bowl. This is your year. This is your offseason, guys. Enjoy it. We can be a little cocky, especially against the Saints fans. but we can also be inclusive to some of these other teams. Look at my co-host on North Sports Dynasty. He's a Lions fan. And a lot of you guys have actually reached out to him, I've heard, and asked about the Lions. Like, who should I start cheering for? I kind of like you being around the Bucs and stuff too. Be inclusive to some of these other teams. When we got to play them, yeah, we chirp them and stuff like that. And we, this, that, and everything else. But we still hold to our teams. We still hold true to us. And we always will. This is Bucs Nation. This is what we do. And we got a great season coming up here. And I'm going to be here all for it. Don't you worry. As soon as it starts getting cold for me, that just means it starts getting awesome for football. Once that first leaf falls up here in Canada, I just know that I can sniff the football season ahead. I can hear the commentators. I can hear Troy Aikman. I can hear Tom Brady yelling at our offensive line. It's coming, ladies and gentlemen. A great season is ahead of us. Don't you worry about that. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Who won the game yesterday, Andrew? What are we talking about for hockey? That would have been... I know the Islanders won tonight, so I'm not sure. Great show, great show. Thank you all for tuning in. Tell them, damn right. See, you are all so excited for your Buccaneers, and you have the right to do that because we are Super Bowl champions. I would yell so much right now, but my fiance just put the kids to bed. I would all of a sudden be sleeping on the couch. My apologies for not being able to yell. But all of you guys are amazing. Keith Larson talking about his pickup game. Oh, the pickup game. I lost. Alex was on the other team. And we'll talk about more on that. North Sports Dynasty next Saturday. 11 a.m. Mountain Time. That's my time. 1 p.m. Eastern Time. That's your time. Thumbs up for me. Thank you guys so much. For the pickup game, my team beat Andrew's team. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, my co-host. Loser. I know. You're all so lovely to me. You guys are so great. I love you guys so much. I just get to leave on such this joyous, that I'm such a loser. No, you guys are amazing. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, like, share, follow me here, the Cheap Seats, and also myself on Twitter at Andrew_Faubert. You can also follow North Sports Dynasty across all social media platforms. And I will be here every Sunday, probably until football season comes around. And then the boss will probably kick me off of this time slot because, this is like the moneymaker. And I don't necessarily know if this face here in Canada would make too much money for you Americans, but I'll try if you want me to. Thank you guys again. I don't even know how to say bye to you guys. I just want to keep on talking, but I'm going to click this thing right here and then I'm going to go. Love you all. Have a great Monday. Kick Monday in the butt and enjoy the week because I'll be back here again next Sunday to give you guys something to talk about.
T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,